I want to explain why I made this recording before I discuss how you can use the universal law to attract money. After writing a book and giving a few classes on the subject, I chose to make my own audio program that shows everyone how to use the awesome power of the universal law. When I teach a class on wealth, one of the first things I tell my students is that their success rests on how well they understand how the universal law works. I would also like to add that creating money is a spiritual science that anyone can understand and use. It is just as possible for spiritual laws to work as the laws of physics, math, and other sciences. These laws can help you bring money or anything else you want into your life. Like a lot of people, I learned about wealth when I was having trouble with money. In order to get money, I committed to prosperity thinking, and over time, I learned how to make it work for me. I finally won $50,000 in my state's lottery. I then started my own successful business with almost no money, and now I have plenty of money to travel and do the things that make me happy. Besides the lottery win, I've also won more money, theater tickets, trips, and a lot of other things. It wasn't long before I was writing magazine pieces about wealth and teaching people like you how to attract money. There are a lot of strong ideas in this audio program that were learned over many years of research. Some of them are the law of attraction, mantras, the practice of getting, and more. You should listen to this show over and over and pay close attention to the mind ideas each time. It's said that repeating is the key to learning, and I really don't think anyone can take in all of this information in one sitting. As you listen to my show, don't forget to take notes for later use and keep this show close at all times for review. A lot of people have used these methods to get ahead in life, win money, make more sales at work, or pay off their debts. I can't promise that listening to this show will help you win the prize. I can only show you how to apply the universal law to your life. You can use this strong force for good, but you need to know how to approach it and how to use it. The truth is that the level of wealth you can achieve is limitless. Are you ready to do the mental work that needs to be done? Of course, being prosperous also means having good health, a home, friends, and peace of mind. But most of us already have some or all of those things, so let's talk about money first. You must have a firm grasp of the universal law of money in order to attract the money you require. Don't be scared off by the title, it's really easy. A component of everything in the world, the universal law, is a life force. Some people call this power God, while others call it the infinite. Don't forget that this amazing creative force works through our awareness and lets us attract what we unconsciously believe in. To put it another way, you attract into your life exactly what you put out there in your ideas, feelings, and hopes. It's possible that you want to know how the universal law lets us attract whatever we believe in. The answer is that the very nature of the universal law is to reflect or copy our deepest thoughts. Also, keep this idea in mind. Take note of what I'm about to say. This awesome power doesn't know how to turn you down. There is no way that the universal law can say no. To say it again, the universal law doesn't know how to fail you or say no. Some people are very shocked by this because we are so used to hearing stories about how God hurt people or how God burned down a town. That's not all the truth, though. The facts show that some people in history had bad luck when they didn't have faith or when their faith wavered. The same is true for the universal law. It will meet your needs and wants. You have to believe in the artistic process, though, and knowing how faith works is the best way to grow it. It's really that easy. Think of the universal law as a waiter. What if you go in and order steak and eggs? The waitress won't say, "No, you're going to have fried fish instead." It's his job to bring you the steak and eggs or whatever you asked for, no matter what. The waiter in the diner and the universal law both don't have an opinion on what you should do or how much money you should make. So this choice gives you the freedom to live the life you want with as much money as you want. Either you're rich or you live from dollar to dollar. You always have a choice. Now you might ask, wait a minute, Eddie. If everyone can be wealthy, then why are so many people poor or barely getting by? The answer lies in their belief system. People have taught us that to get what we want, we have to work hard and fight. We have to work hard to get a raise at work. Some of us have even been told that the only way to get rich is to work hard and sweat. But the truth is that if your faith is strong enough and your commitment is complete, you could have been well off all along. Then, at just the right time, everything you require will find its way to you and become a part of your life. There will be enough money for you to pay your bills, eat out, explore, and do anything else you need to do. You see, listener, the quality of our ideas and subconscious beliefs determines how our life plays out each day. Suppose you keep attracting bad money situations into your life. Guess what? This is because deep down you believe in struggle and lack. But if you think good thoughts and really believe that someone is always taking care of you, you will always have money and good things will happen in your life. You will attract wealth to yourself. What do you unconsciously believe in is the question. It matters what you think about money because your thoughts, beliefs, and most importantly, your hopes are the things that hold you back from being wealthy. What kind of money do you expect? Do you know what your goals are? If you want something badly enough, you have to be determined to see it through until the end. If you aren't clear or aren't fully committed, the universal law will have to react in the same way. This is because it will be reflecting your weak wishes. So get a 3x5 card and write down your money goals. Would $10,000 or $100,000 work for you? Don't make having $1 million in the bank your goal if you can't picture yourself having it. In the event that $50,000 is more appealing, you should write it down and trust that it, or something even better, will be sent to you. After writing down your goal, look at it every so often to remind yourself of how rich you are. People are getting richer all the time, and every day there are new millionaires. Some of these millionaires work hard to get their money, while others win the lottery, a contest, or a big jackpot in Las Vegas. Keep in mind that if someone else has $1 million, you can too. Going to a Rolls-Royce store is one of my favorite ways to improve my luck. I can really picture how nice it would be to own a Rolls-Royce when I look at all those other beautiful cars. In my mind, I see myself driving down the coast in my Cornish roadster, and then I see myself driving it home. Luxury cars and homes around me tell me that I can be rich too, because other people are rich. That is, if you want to become aware of wealth, go to places where wealth is found. In downtown, you will never feel or experience wealth in a public park or train stop. Plan a trip to the most expensive place you can think of to feel what it's like to have money. It could be a wealthy area, a fancy hotel, a pricey restaurant, or a nice shopping store. If you pick the pricey place, for example, you should go there. Forget about being able to buy more than coffee and sweetbread. Just being there will let you experience the wealth so that you can make these rich feelings a part of your own. That's what this game is all about. Take note of the soft furniture and the fancy feel of the place while you're there. Don't forget about the customers as they pull up in their fancy cars. Once you know what it's like to be wealthy, you can use these strong memories to help you picture yourself being wealthy. Beverly Hills was the first time I stayed at a fancy hotel. As I walked up to my room, I took note of how fancy and grand the lobby was. It was about 2 inches thick. There were beautiful paintings on the walls, and the hall had a big grand piano. The rooms cost between $300 and $2,000 a night, and it was clear that only wealthy people stayed there. I lingered in the hallway on my way back down that afternoon, taking in the atmosphere of the place. This kind of exercise can help you become more aware of your wealth. Getting away from places where people talk about lack and limits all the time will help you attract more of what you want. Negative energy can find you and try to get into your thinking. If it's strong enough, you can feel it pressing up against you. Without spiritual strength, things can get in the way of your growth and sway you in the wrong direction. If your friends talk about not having enough or being able to do something, then change the topic or go somewhere else. You should work on wealth thought, but don't tell them that. It's fine to share this kind of thinking with people who understand it, of course. However, the fact that you are keeping it a secret makes it easier for you to attract wealth. For instance, talking to someone when you're scared of them usually helps, because you let go of energy when you talked about what was going on. Your feelings would get the best of you if you didn't tell anyone about your fears. Because you don't have to deal with bad outside distractions while working on a prosperity awareness. The fact that you keep it a secret makes your power stronger. Do you believe it or not, listener? One silly talk or fight about your commitment to wealth can ruin weeks of spiritual work. So don't open your mouth. The word secret comes from the same root as the word sacred. So keep your work on wealth holy by not telling anyone about it. Things will change in your life as your inner spirit grows. Instead of just going through life and dealing with whatever comes your way, you will start to realize that your life has a deep meaning and is developing according to the beliefs you hold in your subconscious. People will pay you back what they owe you. Your money will last longer, and you will attract better money-making opportunities. You may even feel spiritually lighter and more sure that your goals are coming true. You will get the money you want faster if you can raise your awareness faster. How creative do you think? Your mind can still be filled with lots of wealth, even if you live in an apartment complex for low-income people. This will activate the universal law. A friend of mine lives in an old apartment building on the bad side of town. She consistently reminded herself of her wealth, and she kept thinking about having a lot of money every day and every month. This woman worked hard. To attract material prosperity, she did everything she could on a spiritual level. She dreamed about having a big house in a fancy part of town every night before she went to sleep. She thought about getting a new Volvo and taking trips all over the world in her mind. She ultimately met a wonderful man who sold real estate because she stayed true to her inner vision and this action plan. Another year went by, and she married this man. On their wedding day, he gave her a new house and a new Volvo. The next thing I'm going to teach you is very important, so please write it down. Because this part is so important, you should take extra time to really understand it all before going on. Well, you need to be very clear about how much money you want right now. Know that you are working with a spiritual force that can send you money or anything else you need through a variety of ways. You could win the money, find it, or get it given to you. You could even start a company that makes a lot of money right away. You can't tell the universal law to give you $50,000 by 5 p.m. on Thursday and plan to get it. That's not how the law of universality works. It's not a power that can be played with or pushed. When you try to force or control something, you actually stop the process of creation. This is because these actions show that you don't believe in the universal law's creative process. So, if you want $50,000, you should look inside yourself and follow my examples to become aware of your wealth. In order for the universal law to start delivering, you must first make sure that you are ready to receive the money or whatever you need from any source. People, you are co-creating the universal law by making sure your ideas and deeds are in line with it. When you start requesting and informing the universal law that your money must come from a certain route, you are breaking the law. Being anxious and jealous is another thing that can stop you from getting rich. It takes a lot of energy to be impatient, which is a strong sign that you don't trust the universal law to deliver. Besides that, jealousy is a bad energy that can stop your wealth from coming true. Your constant feelings of jealousy block your good from coming to you because they are strong reminders that someone else has what you want. You should emotionally bless someone, like a friend or co-worker, when they get rich or have a lot of money. You should also accept their good luck. Then you should think about yourself and know that the same thing, or even better, can happen to you. Use of mantras correctly is the next thing I want to teach you. What we say is very creative, and it has the power to shape and change the way we live. In order to attract the money we require, we can use the powerful force of our words. By saying certain things over and over, we give our subconscious mind a strong belief in wealth. This makes us attract more money. Spiritual law says that you will attract into your life what you strongly believe in. I am a rich and prosperous child of the universe. I am financially prosperous in all that I do. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly, and I give thanks for my good. When you use mantras, it's important to keep them short and upbeat. This makes it easy for them to take root in your subconscious mind. Some people say their mantras in the afternoon or evening, but the best time is first thing in the morning when you're still awake. Your mind is going through about 12 waves every second. This is the best time to make a mark on your subconscious mind because it is open to new ideas, like dirt that is ready to grow crops. So, first thing in the morning, you should put good thoughts in your mind. The first words you hear in the morning can affect the rest of your day, so think and say good things to yourself in the morning. When you woke up that morning, do you remember that the radio alarm clock played that song that you had been thinking about all morning? You could not take that song out of your mind. The reason for this is that you heard that song when you woke up, in the early morning, when your mind was open to new things. That song was stored in your mind, which is why you heard it over and over again all morning. That's why you should never hear the news first thing in the morning. Some news stories are bad, and you don't need to start your day that way. So, say your mantras out loud for a few minutes every morning before you get out of bed. There are times when you can't say your mantras out loud, but you can still think about them for a few minutes. Maybe you should plan to sit down and write your mantras on a piece of paper in a few minutes. It's important to be aware of the words you use throughout the day to talk about your life. When you talk about yourself, do you use creative, lively words, or do you say bad things? Because the subconscious mind can't tell the difference between a joke and a serious statement, you should never make fun of money. I know a woman who is always sick and always saying, "I am so broke, I am so poor." Because of this, bad things never happen to her. Sadly, her bad thoughts and words keep her from having enough money. Now I'm going to say something else important, so make notes. What you think, say, believe, and do are all constant statements of the universal law of who you are. Yes, it's true that a deed is a statement. A lot of people have never heard this thought before, and if we want the universal law to react to our thoughts of plenty, we have to feel good about everything in our lives. As soon as a negative thought comes up, switch it out for a positive statement or a happy memory of a time when you made enough money to meet your wants. When I say, watch what you do, I mean this. Where do you buy your clothes? Do you spend time in thrift stores when you can just grab what you need at a major store? You have $1,000 saved, but you still buy the cheapest jacket you can find, right? It's fine to buy a cheaper jacket if you don't have the money for a higher quality one. If you have the money to buy a good jacket, though, do it. That will remind you that you always have the best. People who spend money are more likely to always have money on hand, since having money is an indication of wealth. When you have money in the bank, you should always be smart, but don't save it up when you need to pay for something important. Along with affirmations, the use of visualizations is another exercise you can do to attract wealth. The goal of this practice is to create a clear mental image of what you want in your mind. This is important because you need a mental image of what you want in order to obtain it. Also, When you think about what you want, feelings about it may come up. You can use these feelings to change your goals if you need to. For instance, if you set the goal to attract $100,000 but find it hard to believe it can happen, or if you feel like you should aim a little lower, you should change your goal to $50,000 or something that feels much better to you. Listen, pay attention to how you feel. That's your gut talking to you. When I had credit card bills to pay off, I would close my eyes for 10 minutes every day and picture my pocket full of cash. Then I would picture my credit card bills showing that I had no debt. This was a nice and uplifting image for me, and I liked doing this. The important thing is to make a good picture of yourself that you can accept. It's been a long time since I did this exercise, but I remember having trouble with some images. Like when I was working out, I would try to picture my bank account showing a sum of $1 million, but I could never see it. In my mind, all I saw were a lot of zeros. As my understanding of myself grew, I changed my goals based on what my thoughts and subconscious mind told me. I began to picture a $50,000 check written in my name. For some reason, that picture worked better for me, and the number felt better to me. That's exactly what the universal law gave me, $50,000, as I continued to picture and confirm my wealth. If you have trouble seeing certain images clearly in your mind, that means your subconscious mind is telling you to change your goals a bit. I want you to know that the power you have inside you is alive and smart, and it is always looking out for your best. So, pay attention to how you feel, because that's how your subconscious mind talks to you. Now I'll talk about a part of my training that I really enjoy. It's one of the most interesting parts of this philosophy, and it's also one of the best ways to get the money you want. In fact, this exercise is so strong that it can make the process of creation go much faster. It's interesting that up to 99% of goods on the market that claim to bring wealth never even talk about this subject, which is called the practice of receiving. Receiving is so important that you will only be able to receive from the universal law 50% of the time if you can't learn it well and practice it. A man on the street will tell you that it's better to give than to receive if you bring up getting. If you want the universal law to respond to your thoughts of plenty, you must learn to accept gifts from other people. This is especially true when you are thinking about being wealthy. The truth is that a lot of people in our society have a tough time accepting. They understand how to give, but not how to receive. They get very scared about it. Many times, when someone offers to give them something, I have seen them get tense, drop their keys, or get sweaty hands. Does this sound like something you know? Yes, of course it does. It's something we all do. I've been there and dealt with the nerves that come up when someone gives me something or offers to give me something. But the important thing is to keep going and practice taking, even if it scares you at first. We have trouble being good listeners when we don't trust ourselves or are afraid of the unknown. But one of the main reasons we can't receive is that society tells us that having more things is a sign of greed. People have even told us that money is the cause of all bad things. It's not money that makes things bad. It's the love of money that often gets in the way. You can use money to pay your rent, buy a holiday, or get a new car. It's not good or bad at all, but greed comes into play when you want more than your fair share and also want your neighbor's share. That's what greed looks like. Because of the universal law, there is no such thing as lack. There is enough money for everyone. Yes, you should always say yes when someone offers you money, a chance, or anything else, even if it's just paying the lunch truck bill. This way of thinking is only useful for people who are good at receiving it. Today, you should look for times to practice receiving during the course of your day. You don't have to use everything that other people give you. Give some of it to other people. Being open to what people have to offer, on the other hand, keeps your spiritual balance and is in line with your statement that you are a wealthy person. Listener, your statements and your commitment up to this point have all been to attract more money. And if you turn down anything that comes your way, even a free lunch, you're blocking the flow of good things into your life. So, if you tell yourself that you are wealthy, the world will always take care of you. But if you get upset because a friend wants to pay for lunch, you create a spiritual block and cancel your support of wealth. In short, your mind is out of rhythm. The universal law is perfectly balanced, so it can't bring about what you want because your energy isn't in sync with it when you say one thing and do another. If someone offers to pay for your lunch at the next lunch with a coworker or friend, please accept it with thanks. Say thank you and accept it. Don't think about what you can do to return your friend. The universal law will take care of the details if your friend is meant to get something back. You should reflect on the day's events and be grateful that the universal law provided you with a free meal as you make your way home from the restaurant. You can expect this power to show up in your life more often. Keep in mind that you are working with energy, and since it is energy, it has to react to you in some way. Why did I say earlier that the universal law can never say no to you? Because it is intelligent energy, it has to always answer you in some way. Think about it this way. The universal law will answer you in two different ways. When your energy is high enough and you are ready to accept what you have set your heart on, it will answer you by saying yes. As Dr. Emmett Fox said, this is when you have set up a virtual version. Being patient is the second thing that the universal law will do to help you. This means you need to keep working on yourself. The signs of your wealth are still coming together, but it will take a little longer because you are still determined. On the other hand, you can be sure that the universal law will give you what you want if you keep trying and are really dedicated. One day at work, a woman friend of mine gave me some shoes that her husband had never worn. This is one of my favorite examples of how I kept trying to receive things. For that reason, I never turned down anything that was offered to me, even if it was just a few cookies or a can of soda. Anyway, this woman friend of mine told me the shoes were brand new and would fit me perfectly. There was a pair of two-tone leather shoes inside the box that looked like they were out of style 25 years ago. I was shocked when she gave them to me. There was mink fur where the laces were tied at the top of the shoes, and the shoes were sticky. When my friend offered to give me the shoes, I almost laughed out loud, but I worked hard to hold back my laughter. I could have fallen to the floor laughing at that point, or I could have done what I said I would do and been a good player in that situation. I took those shoes to the first Goodwill shop I could find on my way home that afternoon. In spite of the tacky dance shoes, I later thought about how I was able to receive. And that's how you should be, reader. You should get so good at this exercise that you never turn down something that comes your way. This will help you believe that you are a good listener, and most importantly, it will balance your energy so that your thoughts, words, feelings and actions are all in sync. The universal law of attraction will work for you, and the money will come to you. You also can't turn down money you find on the ground. That's like how the universal law doesn't care about the difference between a penny and $1 million. That's why you should always pick up coins that are lying around. Then you should think about how balanced you are getting and how much you are in sync with universal law. I keep all the coins I find on the street in a certain room in my house. In every moment that I see those coins, I thank the universal law for giving them to me, because I know that they are energy coming to me from the universal law. As you become more aware of the little things in your life that are actually energy moving toward you from the universal law, your personal power will grow. Eventually, you'll find that your energy is strong enough to bring that goal into your life, no matter what it is. You might think it's silly to pick up pennies and get cheap dance shoes or other things from people who want to give them to you. But this practice isn't about collecting pennies. It's about your commitment to wealth, being a good receiver, and letting the flow of endless possibility into your life. You should focus on accepting everything that is given to you, even if it's just a cup of coffee or a small gift. When you do receive, make a mental note of your capacity to receive. Be grateful that the universal law is responding to you, and then rest on the thought that the money you want is just around the corner. We've talked about the universal law, making goals, affirmations, visualizations, and the practice of getting. Now you can use what you've learned in real life. I have given you the most powerful method for wealth that you may ever find. I've already said that I used this same program to win $50,000 in my state's lottery and to make a business that makes me a lot of money. The power of the universal law can help you if you use it. The most important thing is that you follow the rules I've given you every day. That's what's called a wealth action plan. A $50,000 lottery win took 8 months to come true. During that time, I consistently supported my wealth, practiced my visualizations, and stayed focused on my goal. The most important thing for me was to make sure that everything I did matched what I was confirming. I never said anything bad about myself or the people I knew out of my words. I knew I had to accept everything that came my way because I was supporting wealth and success. I also knew that my words and actions had to be in line with the order I set with the universal law. I would immediately switch out ideas of wealth for any negative ones that entered my mind. It was the same with what I said